What is up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Captain Gunlance, and welcome to my first Borderlands 4 build video. This one is super fun. I'm just gonna say outright, no exploits. As far as I understand, everything in this is happening legit and as it is intended. Um, I cannot deny that this build is not a kind of a break off against someone named Aggie Saint, who did basically like an aimbot Rafa build with the Phantom Flame. I basically saw that and I got a semi super lucky drop. I'm not gonna say semi, it was a super good drop. And I basically heard a whole lot of stuff with the Golden God, and I wanted to make something based around that and also using Rafa. Rafa is 110% one of the best characters in the game, if not the best, just because of his build variety. I think, in all honesty, he probably has the most build variety. As you can see, I was using the Phantom Flame. You're more than welcome to use the Phantom Flame in this. I just wanted to kind of make my own build out of the one that he made. So the skill points are not exactly the same. They are shifted around a bit to more tailor towards the Golden God. And the craziest part is this Golden God is not perfect. It could have the Jacob's part on it, and if it had the Jacob's part on it, this thing would be absolutely nuts. But thankfully, I just got a super high DPS one, and with the COV and everything that I'm going to have in the build, it just pretty much helps tenfold. Um, so I'm going to start off with the actual skill tree first, and then we'll go into the actual weapons. The only thing I will say is that if you want to do the Golden God version of this build, I would recommend getting something with COV, preferably the duct tape mod. You do not have to get the smelter one if you do not want to, but the duct tape one is the main one that's going to give you a shit ton of damage. And then the Torg one is going to be the best for the Chaosan, which is just basically a boss melter. But I'm going to show you in this video, you can use both. You don't have to use the Chaosan. I know it's pretty much overused right now, so if you strictly want to use the Golden God, you can use it with this build. Um, Skill tree wise, I was basically trying to do as much DPS as I physically can, and that is just Rafa. Your Peacebreaker cannons aren't really going to do a whole lot, so realistically, you could probably do an Apophis Lance one, and just have, you know, constant fire rate and things like that. So I might end up like just trying this just to see how it works. I believe there's something, if I think if you use the Apophis Lance, you might have like unlimited ammo, but I don't know how that's going to work with the actual Golden God. I haven't really tested it all too much, but let's get into the skill tree because I know I'm yapping. You have 5 points into Sitar. I'm going to mispronounce all of these words. I'm just giving you a heads up right now, which is just straight up raw gun damage, super good, regardless of what you're doing. Fire rate, it is kind of overwhelming. I will say if you're playing this on PC, you'll probably have a better time than most console players, just because the fire rate gets pretty nuts. So if I'm being honest with you, if you don't want super fast fire rate, where the point where the gun like basically starts aiming in the sky, you can obviously scale out of these, but I just pretty much am in full fast shooting high damage. This basically just helps because you're constantly critting with the duct tape, so the cooldown is just beneficial. Or actually the skill duration restored is just beneficial. The entire time you're there, you're just, you know, constantly buffing that up, so your action skill basically never ends. This is just, again, just raw damage. The shield that I have on right now is the Super Soldier, which just gives me, again, more fire rate. You could do the... am I blanking? The What's for Dinner. Yeah, you could do the What's for Dinner to constantly keep your shield up, which is a good option to swap over. I just haven't, you know, gotten my dead eyes swapped over to try and do any of that. And obviously the protein too. If you just go in, do a little, you know, smash, you could probably just disintegrate a boss. And I might actually try that in this video just to see. I haven't technically done this one. I've just been using the Super Soldier for mobbing, because again, it's just more movement speed and more fire rate, and it helps regen, which the Golden God does need. Fast forward over to this. So whenever your fully loaded magazines are just doing bonus cryo damage, And whenever you do the unlimited ammo on the Kaozin, it does work with that. Sadly, the Golden God gets more damage the more you're shooting, so you want it to start overheating. So this actually isn't good for the Golden God portion of it. It's just good for the Kaozin and the Phantom Flame because, you know, they don't have to be heated up to do more damage. This one does. If you do the unlimited ammo, it's not going to count. So this is just bonus shock damage whenever you're aiming. I would recommend aiming. Again, this is good for the Phantom Flame portion of it because you're constantly aiming and it's just locking on and shooting everything. But this is just good to use on this too if you don't want to be, you know, just aiming willy-nilly. Action skill wise, you can pretty much do one of the two of these. I like this one just a little bit more. It's just a constant beam that's always locked on, so it's just more beneficial, and it's doing crit damage whenever you spec into this one, which sometimes I do a little bit of both. This one's just good to keep it constantly going, which will just keep this going and keeping your overdrive active, things like that. Splash damage, again, just good for the Chaosm whenever you're bossing. You just constantly have, you know, damage stickies and things like that. Then this is just increased gun damage and gun handling. Now, as far as I understand, this skill is bugged. So if you do not want this, you can change it. The only thing is that it's just bonus gun damage, but I believe it like stops your projectile speed. But with the Golden God, you're basically up in everyone's faces, so it kind of doesn't matter. But again, gun handling in this is going to be nuts. Your gun is basically shooting up in the sky. So if you don't want that, again, if you want to lose out on gun damage, you could do stuff to just kind of help out with health, or, you know, spec into something like this handshake deal, which just again is just raw gun damage, which could also help. But you do want to spec into something into here just so you can get down to Soldado. You can do the Dancer class mod, which I do have some that spec into it. The only thing is I don't have another Deadeye to put onto it, so I'm trying to figure out whether or not I want to use Deadeye or Heating Up. So I'm going to have to respec all of these and try and get another legendary class mod, but that'll be that tree. And then in this one, this is the most important piece for the Golden God portion of it because it's just a constant regen, and this is doubled with that skill down here, and then this one is literally just more fire rate. Again, gun's gonna be absolutely bonkers nuts, so it's all doubled whenever you do it. And I have 9 points from the actual class mod. Again, it's not fully necessary. You're just shooting a bunch more bullets, so you're doing more damage over time. And then to get into the actual gun portion of it, which I've kind of already broken down, these three are kind of the main components. You can use literally anything with this build. On all honesty, I might go and farm an Infinity just to get an Infinity on this and try that, because I can't imagine that wouldn't be absolutely nuts. But even the GMR does a shit ton of damage with this build setup, and this is without the crit knife. I want to specify I'm not using the crit knife. This isn't even a crit knife. I don't have one on Rafa right now. But you can pretty much use any grenade. I just have this it's basically just a nerfed version of a crit knife. So you can basically just throw it on something and they're just taking 15% more damage. Again, it's not necessary. You genuinely do not have to use this for this build. It's just a nice thing to have, especially if you're farming. It's just a quick and easy thing, which is the only reason I ever recommend the crit knife, is strictly for farming. If you're trying to kill a boss super fast to try and get weapons and legendaries and things like that, there's no reason to not be able to use the crit knife. It is so dumb that people are gatekeeping that. But you can use literally whatever you want in terms of grenades. There's probably a million better grenades that I could recommend. I haven't really been testing ordinances on this, so triple bypass is just super good. Again, more fire rate. You can do literally anything else if you want. Enrage is probably the better of the two. You're just doing more damage. I could probably use this one instead. it's just not super good in terms of the healing. And this one's just an Incinerary Nova. But you can use pretty much any, I recommend, honestly, the ones that have the 2 uses that give Overshield. Those ones are just super, super good in general. But shoot, I might even add this. I didn't even know I had this in my inventory, if I'm being honest with you. If I was to change anything, I would like to try the heating up version of this. It just does extra gun damage whenever you're overheating, and I don't think that's really worth it because this is like constantly doing crit damage, which Deadeye is literally just getting benefit from. So it's just a kind of a good mix together. I have the Super Soldier, like I said, just helping out with extra ammo. So this basically has unlimited ammo, and with it having unlimited ammo, it's just constantly doing the extra damage. Again, Dancer, not super good passives on it. If I could get a better one, like I said, just do one with the actual skill point, then you have an extra skill point to throw off to the side. I just have to find another Deadeye to spec into one of these, but this would probably be the one that you'd be looking for 100%, just with, better passives. So without me yapping away, let's go and fight this boss. So this is going to be a shock on shock shield, or boss type. So it's going to have 2 health bars with 2 shocks. I am going to do an armored one on this one too, and possibly a flesh one, just to show you. I'll use the Chaosan and the Golden God separately, but just to show you, whenever you're using this, it's better to aim down sights. Like I said, it's shock, so how funny would it be if all my stuff fell off the map? So if you're trying to have something that is literally just a boss killer, it's just going to disintegrate. We're on UVH5. Super, super good feeling in terms of boss kill time without using any kind of exploits or anything like that. And we'll do one more with the Chaosan. I like to do all this stuff alive. I know it's not ideal, like you have someone yapping in your ear the entire time, but we'll try this. Again, I did this without the Enrage, so the Enrage just kind of helps out. I didn't realize I had that in my skill tree. But the Chaosan is just super, super good too. I'm doing this with the COV augment that I had on, but you can get a Torque sticky one too, which I do have. I'll show you that right after this. I got super, super lucky on my Rafa. It's not even funny. Is this another Chaosan? Hey. I actually need a better one. Oh, and look at that. I got a better one. Just more ammo and more fire rate. Yeah, I'll 100% take that. Thank you. I don't remember what I'm looking for on this, if I'm being honest. I want to say it might come with Jacobs, so I might be looking for a Jacobs one. But I don't know off the top of my head. But, what was I saying? Oh, down here, I got super lucky with a Torg one, so you can obviously use the Torg sticky, which is literally just going to do more damage, so obviously I would 100% recommend this. The top one, the Headringer, isn't really worth it on the Chaosan, because the stickies are doing most of the damage, so if you can find a Torg enhancement with Explosive Septum, Seption, there you go, then obviously you'd just be doing more damage on that too. But I just was showing you on the COV one, I'm not getting any bonus damage from anything. That is all just skill tree and, overdrive. So let me jump cut. I'll go over to, if I remember correctly, the Carcadia Burns Vault Monster, which I think has armor. And we'll go test out the build on that. And obviously, if you have any questions in the comments, please just let me know. I'm going to let this one just kind of play out. I'm not going to talk and yap over this one. I might leave in some gameplay of me running through the actual vault itself too, if you want to see how mobbing works. So yeah, if you guys enjoy the video, please leave a like, do subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see y'all next time. Goodbye. And just a quick thing, I forgot to do this while I was actually recording. This is my specialization. So I'm going to tell you right now, my specialization is honestly not spec'd for this exact thing. Obviously, I would love to get down to brute, and possibly even the killer skill tree. So if I'm being honest, I was doing a ricochet Rafa. So if I'm being honest, I would spec more into brute and killer. You would be doing 10 times more damage than I'm doing even right now. So I highly recommend going into these rather than these. Just get down to now with caffeine, and then if you can, get into these as many as you can. But I'm just showing you. I literally don't have anything. This is pretty much the only thing that I'm doing right now that is helping out with damage wise, and possibly this. But I'm kind of standing still in the video if you can see. But these are just action skill, and then this is action skill cooldown. So you could do a lot more damage if you spec'd into these skill trees. This I just highly recommend getting in general. It is a lot to sacrifice to get down there, but this is probably where your bread and butter would be in terms of your specialization. So yeah, I just wanted to come in and say that. So enjoy the video.